question newbies ask often on the Pfaff Creative Icon 2 is about the bobbin sensor. Like, for example, when the bobbin sensor comes up on screen, so the machine recognizes that you are almost out of thread. And then when you peek inside, you're like, but I see thread in here. Why is this message coming up? Or you know you have enough thread on there to finish what you're sewing, but every time you touch OK and start to sew again, that message only is to return and you stop sewing. Here is 2 tricks to help you understand the sensor and to get the most out of your bobbin. So first off, the message. If you will stop touching OK and just come to the foot and start stitching, you will be able to use up as much of the bobbin as you can. So by leaving the message on screen, just keep sewing. Now eventually you're going to run out of thread, so that's when you know, but at least you're alerted to be aware. It'll probably get you to the end of what you're currently stitching. Now if you're on embroidery, and with my next tip I'm going to tell you, when that message comes up, you're going to have about this much thread left on your bobbin. So that means you need to stop, change your bobbin, put it back in, and then you'll be ready to roll. So let me explain how the bobbin sensor works in relationship to how the bobbin winds, and then you're going to learn the best trick ever. So you see the little small ridge that is near the top of your bobbin. So on the top where it says Pfaff, this is the part that's going to go down. And when you start to fill the bobbin, the thread is going to naturally fill the top ridge first. And once it's full, then it will jump down and fill the lower part. When, in the opposite direction, you have used up all the thread below the ridge, the light or sensor will shine through the bobbin. At that point, when you look at it, you are seeing all the thread that is still here, but really just the part that's in that top ridge. So you are alerted by the message we saw that you are almost out of bobbin. So it's a little deceiving when you look down in your bobbin area because you are seeing that thread that was filled first. So here's a little trick that I use, especially when filling bobbins with embroidery bobbin thread. You know how thin that thread is? Because it's so thin, there are yards that actually end up in that top ridge. So to help that not be such a long or wasteful item, you can take your thread it from the inside up through the hole in the bobbin, place the bobbin on the bobbin winder. Now, as I engage it and we get that message on screen, you might even slow it down at the beginning here just so it doesn't spin so fast. You do see that with one hand, I'm going to hold the bobbin thread tail straight up from the bobbin. But as I go ahead and push start down here, I'm going to next come up here immediately and with my finger push the thread to jump out of the top ridge and immediately jump to start filling below the ridge. So can you see that after it fills, it's only going to wind a couple times in that top part before it's going to start filling the rest of the bobbin. So that means there's not much left when that sensor goes off. It's going to look something like this. I'm going to touch the bobbin winding message and then push that thread to pop down to that lower amount. Now, when I've used up all that thread down in the lower part, you're going to have just a handful of twists of thread left on the bobbin. So usually when that message comes up for me, I know that it is time to switch bobbins. And if I have just a little bit of fabric to stitch, I will probably make it, but not for the long haul. So I hope these tips have been helpful, and now you understand the bobbin sensor. If for any reason you are getting a message and you have a full bobbin, maybe your sensor has got a little lint or dust. If it has been a while since your last cleaning at your local Pfaff store, maybe it's time for a little visit and put that on one of the things for them to double check. We have lots of videos on the Pfaff Creative Icon that you can master this machine with, including additional videos on how to clean and take care of this machine so it works flawlessly every time you sit down to sew.